All right, hello everybody, and welcome. So today I'm going to talk about how to use payment plans to meet your clients where they are at. But before we begin, I just want to give a special thank you to this year's Visionary Partners. My name is Tristan. I'm a product manager here at Clio, and for the past year, I've been focused on our Clio Payments offering. Prior to joining Clio, I spent about a decade working on payment systems, different products that are out there. Also did a little bit of time with online banking. And through that time, I've certainly helped a lot of businesses get up and running with payments. And one of the things that I'm aware of is that there are challenges in terms of collecting payments. And so my goal by the end of this talk is that you've now got another tool to add to your toolkit to help you get paid on time. So on the agenda today, of course, this is all about payment plans. We're going to talk about what they are, why you might want to use them, how to set them up, how to manage them, and then we'll recap with some takeaways at the end. So as we begin, I'd ask you to consider if these are any of the challenges sound familiar to you. So perhaps you're seeing higher admin hours related to chasing clients for balances. Maybe this is at a level that is just higher than you're comfortable with, or maybe you want to draw this down over time. Or maybe you're seeing disputes over bills after the work has been completed and you're finally presenting a bill to your clients. Or it could be that you're dealing with unpredictable cash flow, which is making it harder to plan for your firm's financial future. It could also simply be that you're having to write off more aged accounts receivable balances than you're comfortable with. So the good news here is that payment plans are a tool that can help you tackle each of these challenges. So of course we know that the total cost of legal services, combined with the fact that they're often on 30-day payment terms, it can make it cost prohibitive for many out there. So by setting up payment plans, firms can configure payment plans that allow their clients to pay for the balance of an invoice over a series of installments over a longer period of time. And so now you may have a client who was on the fringe of being able to receive help for their legal services, is perhaps now able to comfortably afford help for their legal services. In fact, we know that about half of lawyers report that the most significant reason for late payments is a lack of funds. And so we also know that you're spending a lot of your valuable time chasing clients for outstanding balances. And so if you're a solo firm, this is having a knock-on effect directly onto your admin hours. It's driving down your utilization rate. And these are hours that could have otherwise gone to billable work. So we know from our recent Legal Trends report, and this is a trend that we've seen for several years now, that clients are looking for alternative payment methods. And payment plans consistently rank near the top of this list. So this helps to validate that these are of importance to clients. There is definitely an opportunity here for firms to make these more visible and more available. You may have a client who's comparing a couple of firms side by side, and one who is offering a payment method that they prefer, they may choose to go that way. So we know that about 70% of clients are preferring to pay with payment plans, but there's a discrepancy here where just over half of firms are actually equipped to do so. Now, the good news is if you are a managed customer today, then you have access to payment plans. All Clio Payments customers have this capability by default, and the solution is fully integrated into your billing and your client intake workflows. It supports e-check payments and credit card payments out of the box. Of course, the payment plans can be configured to support your specific needs around payment times and amounts. So to date, Clio Payments have automatically collected about $233 million on behalf of lawyers and law firms. And we have another $322 million to be scheduled for collection over the next year. That's over $500 million that's being collected without you chasing or sending bills off for collections and ultimately maybe having to write them off. And I can tell you from monitoring this feature internally that these numbers continue to go up and to the right as more firms adopt this capability. So before jumping straight into how to configure payment plans, I'd like to leave some of these operational considerations with you. So you'll probably want to establish a protocol for who is offered payment plans. And as part of that, what is a way that you're going to derive what's actually affordable to that client. And most importantly there is, although it has to be affordable to your client, it needs to work for your firm's cash flow. So you can consider adding a percentage fee to your bills. This would represent the financial risk that you're taking on by offering a payment plan, but also the convenience to the client. You'll want to determine if a payment plan agreement is needed. So this would be in the case that your fee agreements or your engagement letters don't cover the necessary details here. And then finally, and this is my favorite, anytime you're making any kind of significant operational change to your business, you'll probably want to take the steps to measure the progress that this is having. So to do this, I would suggest taking a look at your cash flow over the past 6 months, see how aged your accounts receivable typically is, maybe taking note of your realization and utilization rates, and establishing a baseline that you can come back to in, say, 1, 3, and 6 months, and see how payment plans are performing at that point. All right, so let's take a look at how to set this up. So now you're probably all familiar with this screen. This is Clio Manage. To access payment plans, you're going to find the Online Payments tab here. The first thing that you'll need to do is, if you haven't already done it, you have to set up Clio Payments. So that's a pretty quick and easy application. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to complete the application. With that out of the way, you'll need to make sure that you have billing or admin permissions configured. And then once those are organized, you'll be able to click here to create new payments plans. Then you're going to find the contact who is responsible for that payment. You'll determine if these funds are to be deposited into a trust account or an operating account. You'll configure the agreed upon installment amount here. You'll set up the payment frequency, so be it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or we can also do a scheduled one-time payment as well. You'll choose the starting date for your payment plan. You'll enter the total amount owed here. And I'll pause here to draw your attention to this little checkbox. This is a feature which allows you to look at a client's outstanding balance for all bills and matters that they may have open. And if you configure this, if you're continuing to work with this client, that amount could increase, and then your payment plan will run longer to compensate automatically. The reverse would be true if you're drawing down that balance. It would run shorter to compensate. Then you're going to key in your client's credit card information. So in this case, this would be an example where you're collecting the credit card number over the phone, or maybe you're face-to-face with them. Or alternatively, you can select a credit card or an e-check payment that you previously have collected and have stored on file. And we'll come back to this in just a moment. Finally, you're ready to review the information you just input here and then submit. So during client intake, you have an opportunity here to request and to save payment methods for future use. And so as we just saw there, it makes it a little easier when it comes time to configure a payment plan or a bill if you've already got those payment methods stored with Clio. So to do that, you navigate to Contacts, you find the billing information section here, and then you can click Request a Payment Method link, and you take this link and you can use them in your emails, in your texts, or even in an engagement letter, and you're providing instructions to your clients to save their payment methods for future use. All right, so let's take a look at now how to manage payment plans after we have a few set up. So from the online payments section again, here you're going to see when you navigate to the payments tab, you're going to see a listing of all of your payment plans. And if you can, of course, filter down to active, stopped, or completed payment plans. You can edit these plans at any time, so changing things like installment amounts, next payment dates, and so on. And you can stop payment plans at any time. And there's a couple of different behaviors there that are worth noting. So if you are processing a credit card that has been authorized and you stop that payment plan, the credit card payment will be voided and it will not travel to your bank account. The reverse is true if you're dealing with an e-check payment. So if that's authorized and the payment plan is stopped, it will travel through to your bank account. So of course, part of managing your payment methods is staying up to date with your payments. And to do this, you're going to want to set up your payment notifications. So you're going to access the settings menu, online payments, and you're going to find the payments notification tab. From here, you can select a pre-existing user group to receive these notifications, or you can create your own that will work for your firm's needs. With that configuration organized, each time a client makes a payment, you're going to see a notification that looks like this. So it'll list out the client, the amount that was paid, amounts they're receiving, and the payment method that was used. Likewise, your client also sees a notification that looks like this. And it will happen from time to time that payment plan payments will fail. And if that happens, you and your clients will see a notification that looks like this. And there are a couple of different ways that I'd recommend recovering from this. So let's say you're dealing with a smaller payment on a shorter frequency. You might agree with your client that it's reasonable to skip this payment and try again next week. The implication for the Clio Payments payment plan means that it will run 1 week longer to compensate for that missed payment. If it's a larger payment on a longer frequency, you may not want to skip that payment, and at which point you could take an out-of-band payment, a one-off payment, to draw down that balance. Now, I'll come back to the outstanding balance feature, because if you're using that and you are paying down that balance, then it will automatically sync up your payment plan, meaning you don't have to come back here and keep this in sync. The last thing that will happen from time to time is that credit cards will be lost or stolen, and you'll just need to collect a new one to put on file. So you are able to then request a new payment method using the link I showed earlier, and then you can edit the payment method to the new one once you have that on file. This is actually a feature that was released over the last couple of weeks, meaning that you no longer have to fully stop and recreate payment plans anytime a payment method is becoming invalid. All right, so we're rounding up to the end here. So I'll recap with some of the key takeaways. So we do know that clients are looking for alternative payment options, and payment plans does rank top among them. It may mean the difference between a client receiving legal help or not at all. And there's definitely an opportunity here to develop a slight competitive advantage by making payment plans more available and more visible. You can improve your revenue numbers and your realization and utilization rates by implementing payment plans. And of course, payment plans are available for all Clio Manage and Clio Payments customers. If the idea of payment plans has resonated with you, I'd also encourage you to take a look at Kimberly Bennett's session tomorrow afternoon. She'll be covering the rising trend of legal subscription services and how to implement that at your firm. And I think that you'll see that a lot of the concepts that we've covered here, along with some of the workflows in Manage and Clio Payments, will be directly applicable for that session. Thanks so much for listening. I hope this has been helpful, and you've now got another tool in your toolkit to help you get paid. If you'd like to talk more about payments, I'll be in the Payments Product Lab, and I'd be happy to see you there. Thanks, everybody.